Hey guys, Mike here. So today I'm going to talk about SOFI stock and why it has been moving up. I think one reason won't surprise you, but the other reason will actually surprise you. And so I did some deep digging because I noticed the trend that's been happening here in the last 2 to 3 weeks. And so we're going to talk about that. Also, why SOFI stock is being held down deliberately. I think it's pretty dang obvious what's going on with this, because I do like this company, especially for the long term, and so do a lot of other people. And I'm going to show you that as well. So if you're getting out of this, all I ask, hit the like and subscribe button, share this video. I really appreciate that, guys. And having said that, let's go ahead and get into SOFI stock. And as you can see right here, guys, on Webull, it only has 2 analysts covering it. One's a buy, one's a strong buy, ranging from 23 to 30 bucks. And of course, why is this? Very simply, SOFI is competing against all these other institutions, right? Wells Fargo, Citi, Bank of America, so JP Morgan. So do you really think they're going to be covering SOFI and start giving it upgrades like they do with other companies, since they're a direct competitor and they're taking their customers away right now? And of course, you can see why. It's pretty simple, right? You got everything you can imagine on here, from student loan refinancing, private loans, personal loans, home loans, auto loans, SOFI investing. Now they're doing IPOs for you. Eligible SOFI members can invest in upcoming IPOs before they're traded on the public market. So they're doing that. But you go back over here, I mean, they got crypto, fractional share, the ETFs. Then you go to SOFI Spend. You got the credit card, which is new, SOFI Money. Then you go into all the insurances, right? Renter's insurance, homeowner insurance, auto, life, estate planning. And so then there's SOFI Work for small businesses and stuff. And so it's really just, and so it's really obvious what's happening, right? Because you got dumpster fire companies out there that are SPACs that have way more than 2 analysts. And so, and if you look at the 2 analysts, none of them are from major financial institutions, right? And so it's pretty obvious what's happening, because they are taking their customers. That's just the way it is, right? SOFI is targeting millennials especially, trying to be that one-stop shop. And if you can't see that from their own website, obviously you don't know anything about the company. And I can guarantee behind the scenes, I know how this system works in this country, that I'll guarantee you all those major banks are lobbying like crazy to try to make sure SOFI, if they have any way to do it, does not get that bank charter. Because if they get that bank charter, that means SOFI does not have to borrow money from them to lend out to their customers, okay? And so that will be a huge hit to them and make SOFI that much more of a competitor to them, okay? And so, it's plain as day, because I looked up some just terrible SPACs out there that aren't doing well at all. Got way more than 2 analysts, right? You're telling me SOFI, who's going to be doing $980 million, almost $1 billion this year, doesn't even rate more than 2 analysts, not one major financial firm giving any coverage? Come on now. I mean, that's a little suspect. That's a little suspect, okay? And so it just makes no sense, especially with the growth and everything else. And so that's obvious. It doesn't surprise me. And so, I just want to put that out to you. And maybe disagree. Put in the comments if you do. But to me, it's just plain day obvious. And then, the other things. Look at what the institutions are doing. Again, we're on the Webull website here. 228 institutions are invested and hold SOFI stock. And they own almost 40% of the shares outstanding. And so you can see right here, institutions increased 66 over the last quarter. New 117 institutions. You see the decrease is very little, right? Then you go over to shares, increase 17.52 million, new 288 million. And so, it's pretty obvious institutions like this company. And so obviously it's a good thing institutions are in this company and own such a big percentage of it. But, it's also starting to finally hit some mainstream media and get a little love from them as well.
My final trade is going to be SOFI. I love this name, and the name is sitting on its lows. We just had some call buying come in there. I grabbed the 15.5 calls.
And so looking at the chart and what he's talking about, obviously you had the major sell-off after the earnings call. Then you had the nice run-up. It's always the same thing, right? Then you had the nice run down. And then we're starting to trend up. And then zooming in on this, you can see this nice trend line, bounce, 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 bounce. But all of a sudden today, you can see it broke a little bit below that trend line. So we're going to see if we can regain it. And then you look at the RSI, we were in the overbought territory. But then they've since kind of pulled back a little bit. So, we're going to have to see if they can get above that trend line starting out Tuesday, since we're closed on Monday. And really, I think what you're looking for, what I'm looking for, I'd rather see happen, is it just sit there and consolidate around the support level and then start to move up. And if we pull out even more, we'll see Here's your next resistance levels: 1550, 1650, 1750. Very easy to remember, and those are pretty well defined support and resistance levels for this stock. And so we're going to see if it can keep going. Now that's really number one reason, right? Because it's SoFi, it's starting to get a little love, all that good stuff. Institutions are buying in. Even insiders, the CEO and CFO has made purchases over the last 8 to 15 days as well. And so that's a good thing to see. But the other thing is, what is happening to SPACs right now? In case you haven't noticed, and I'm going to show you this, all of a sudden, I said this like I think it was last week maybe, or beginning of this week, that certain stocks are starting to get rotated into, all right? And so if you look right here, it's no coincidence, you can see right here over the last 5 days, look at some of those popular SPACs: Matterport, Proterra, SoFi, Tattoo Chef, Open Door, all up between 6 and 17%. And then if we move up to the last month, as you can see right here, Matterport up 25%, Open Doors up 32%, Tattoo Chef's almost 10%. SoFi is way down because they had that massive drop during earnings, so it's been coming back the last 2 weeks. Proterra up 12%. And of course, you know, I can look, and so it could be a coincidence, but if you look, I'm looking at here, this is the stocks that Wall Street Bets is talking about the most right now. And if you look to the right, you'll see all the SPACs over here. Clove is a SPAC, RKLB is Rocket Labs, up major Friday that was, and Thursday for that matter. Tattoo Chef, SoFi, IRNT, which is also a SPAC, is up big time. And so of course there's others at Wall Street Bets has ran up like crazy, and the Reddit crowd has just ran up like crazy over the last couple of weeks. And so, you know, it's hard to tell if SoFi's movement has something to do with that. I'm sure partially is, but SoFi is not doing this astronomical move out there, so I don't really believe it's fueled by that crowd as much. Hopefully it's finally just getting some love and people actually buying into it. The big money, that is, you know, is what I'm talking about. Not retail investors, but, you know, I definitely know I've seen a lot of people talking about call options for SoFi, right? And so I know, you know, that's one way to go, or to buy the stock. But, you know, it's just one of those things where I think with the growth that they're projecting, obviously $980 million in revenue by year end, you know, hopefully we get the bank charter, hope by year end, that would be great. You know, I think this sky's the future, and there's no doubt this company is a threat, right? This is why PayPal came out and said, oh yeah, you know, we're going to start trying to look into having a trading platform. I mean, these companies realize one-stop shops, that's the new generation. They love that stuff, right? I personally like it too, and I'm not the younger generation. You know, I used to have a lot of my stuff with one company, but you see what they got to offer. And I don't think it's any coincidence. You look over the last month, look what's happened to the major credit card companies: Visa, MasterCard, and American Express. They're all going down, you know, over the last month, while SoFi is going up. All these other companies are going up: Square, PayPal. You know, they realize, you know, the traditional credit card companies, the traditional banks, they realize they're behind. They're either going to start making acquisitions, you know, which SoFi has been rumored to be acquired, which wouldn't surprise me a bit, by maybe a Square or PayPal, or maybe even on traditional bank companies, who knows. But, you know, they know they're behind, and that's exactly what the CEO said of SoFi. He said traditional banks used to have, you know, include like everything. They wanted to be they used to be like a one-stop shop, right? You go in there for a bank account, they're trying to sell you insurance too. And so everything else, all your loans under one roof, all that stuff, life insurance, you name it. Well, you know, they kind of lost trust of the public with all the scandals they went through, like Wells Fargo and a couple others. And then also the fact that, you know, they just can't acquire customers cheaper than what SoFi, PayPal, and Square do. You know, they just can't do it. And they're way behind the times. They got all these brick and mortar, obviously, you know, buildings they're in. And so, you know, it's an uphill battle for them. It really is. And so, you know, that's my deal with SoFi. I wanted to show you the one reason they're moving up, but also another reason could be because of what's going on with Reddit and Wall Street Bets and what they're doing with SPACs right now. So keep a close eye on that. Anyway, I hope you got something out of this, guys. Hit the like, subscribe button if you did. I really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments what you think about SoFi, or if you have any other fintech coming out that you like, put it in there as well. And I'll see you later.